Hello, today we are going to do bean salad spread. We are going to use pinto beans, a quarter of a small round onion, celery. You can also use bell pepper. Today we're going to use a quarter cup of celery, lemon juice. You can also use vinegar, but today we're going to use 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, and 1/8 teaspoon each of salt and powdered mustard. We may also need some water just in case our bean salad spread is a little dry. Before we begin, I'm going to first wash my hands with warm water and soap for 20 seconds. I'm going to first rinse our vegetables and also the top of the pinto bean lid to get most of the dirt off of our food before we start. Okay. Set this aside. Next, I'm going to open up our pinto beans. Today we're going to use pinto beans, but you can also use any kind of beans you want. And then I'm going to just drain it. Okay. We're going to drain it and also rinse it to get most of the gas-forming juices out of the beans. Next, I'm going to mince our onion and celery. You can also use bell pepper, but today we're going to use celery. I'm going to do the onion first. And we only need a quarter of the onion. So I'm going to set this aside. And we're only going to use a quarter. So I need to take off the top layers of the onion. It's the hard part. We don't want to be eating. And then we're just going to mince the onion. Now, if you like onion, if you like that oniony flavor, you can also add more onion if you like. Or if you don't care for the oniony flavor so much, add less. Because this is a raw onion, kind of has a strong onion bite. You can also use a sweeter onion such as a Maui onion, or you can use a yellow onion, a white onion, red onion. You can also use green onions if you want. Or if you don't like onions altogether, no need to put the onion. Okay, so I just mince that up. Then I'm just going to put it in this bowl here just to set it aside for later. Next is our celery. And we're also going to have to mince this up too. Celery, bell pepper, anything that will, give it a nice crunch. Mincing it up here. Okay. And then this too, we're going to just set it aside to be used later when we're actually assembling our bean salad spread. And I'm done with my cutting board and knife, so I'm just going to set it aside here. What needs small kind mess, yeah. Okay. Now we're ready to begin assembling our bean salad spread. First thing we're going to do is put our beans inside of our bowl. And then we can mash the beans. Now the recipe says to mash the beans until half of them are paste, but I kind of like it if it's all mashed up. Now you can use a spoon, or if this is too difficult, you can use a fork. I'm having a hard time, so I'm going to use a fork. Today we're using pinto beans, but you can use kidney beans, garbanzo beans, any kind of beans. You can use canned beans or the dry kind. You just have to cook it first. And it takes a while to cook. If you have the time to cook it, great. Dried beans are so much more economical, but canned beans are readily available and ready to use. Okay. Next we're going to add our lemon juice, 2 teaspoons. You can also use vinegar if you don't have lemon juice. 1 and 2. And then an 1/8 teaspoon each of salt and mustard, dry mustard powder. So we have our dry mustard powder. We're going to use an 1/8 of a teaspoon. And then our salt. Okay. Now we're going to add our 1/4 cup of onion. And then we only need a 1/4 cup of our celery. Now we're just going to mix this all together. And you see how the texture is a little dry. But because it's a little dry, we want to give it a little bit more of a creamy texture. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of water. We'll start with a teaspoon. Okay. We'll start with 2 teaspoons. It'll be much nicer. It's much easier to mix. Bean salad spread is looking really nice. Okay. We can serve it with vegetables, crackers, as a filling in a sandwich, whatever you want, however you want to eat it. Today we're going to have it with some celery. And there we go, bean salad spread. Again, all we needed was 1 can of beans, a 1/4 of a small round onion, a 1/4 cup of bell pepper or celery or a mixture of both, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice or vinegar, an 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and an 1/8 teaspoon of powdered mustard. Very easy. We also added a couple teaspoons of water. Enjoy.